Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. We have the new OCC report, Office of Comptroller of Currencies. I've been deep diving into this report for 10 years, whatever it is now. And the first quarter, they changed how they report on silver and, quote, other precious metals, and they lumped gold in with it to hide it. Just so you leave that out there, I think they did it because we would have seen the Bank of America silver position go from 1.2 billion ounces down to zero by the end of this quarter, which is in 3 weeks. That's a big deal that JP or Bank of America can get out of that massive hole. This was to suppress the price of silver over the past 2-3 years. And as I projected at the beginning of the year, it worked out exactly that way. As you can tell, the combined, they call them all precious metals. So silver, gold, platinum, and palladium. As I predicted, notice they've been going up. This is just mainly silver and all this. Going up. And then you had the first quarter of this year. And they lumped gold in with it, so it looks massively distorted, basically, so you can't see what's happening. All these silver contracts were less than 1 year. So basically, all of 2022, Bank of America would be, if they were leases, it's some kind of structured lease. I haven't quite figured out how they did it. But JP Morgan booked $1 billion gain at the beginning of this process. Now, if you look at it, the right here, the combined just keeps falling and falling. Look, the whole time practically it was just rising. This is massive falls. First quarter went from $463 billion down to $413 billion. That's 50, almost exactly $50 billion drop. And then you have another, let's see, that's 30, 40, $45 billion drop. Remember, the silver, 1.2 billion ounces of silver was about $28 billion. So clearly they can hide $28 billion in these numbers going down. So I think about half of this is silver going down. It'd be less than half. 28 billion over the whole year. So we have one more quarter of this that won't be posted. This was just posted for the third quarter. And then that it'll go down again about probably another 50 billion. And then the silver derivative of Bank of America will be done this year. But you're not allowed to know that. And they made very clear, and this is the guy who made the decision. Greg Coleman, a senior deputy comptroller for large bank supervision at the OCC. He was the guy who decided exactly what to do on this large bank position report. How can we hide that Bank of America, the lease operation is going to be going down to zero? The only way to do it was to lump in gold. So that's exactly what he did. Greg Coleman, nice job fooling the American people again. Congratulations, United States government. Let's take a look who Greg Coleman is. Greg Coleman is the senior deputy comptroller for large bank supervision at the Office of Comptroller of Currency. In this position, Mr. Coleman will direct nearly 800 men and women who supervise the country's largest national banks and federal branches and agencies, which hold more than $10 trillion in total consolidated assets. He also serves as a member of the agency's executive committee. He assumed these duties in January of 2021. Prior to this assignment, Mr. Coleman served as deputy comptroller for large bank supervision. Mr. Coleman has served a variety of bank supervision roles as an examiner, policy expert, and manager at the OCC, including serving as examiner in charge of Capital One E-Trade. He previously served as director within the Credit and Risk Division in the Office of Chief National Bank Examiner and as, quote, the lead for capital markets team at JP Morgan Chase. Of course he was a Chase guy. The head of capital markets is a massive job. He's reporting directly to Jamie Dimon. And he's the guy who decided, hey, let's put gold in with silver so we can hide it from anybody who's on our tail. And that's exactly what they did, but you can still see it. The gold derivatives, gold and silver derivatives are dropping fast. Why? Because these were all one-year leases. This is the end game, my friends. So, also wanted to comment on, a lot of people send me emails about the latest Greg Hunter interview with David Morgan, where David Morgan says that, no, the U.S. Mint is not required to mint coins to meet demand because of the change. And we've talked about this change. We were part of the change, actually. In 2010, they changed the language from the mint what was required to make silver eagles in quantities to meet demand to the mint was required. It was the same language, except it was determined by the U.S. Treasury Secretary. So whether or not it meets demand was determined by the U.S. Treasury Secretary. And we know this, we've known this for a long time, but it makes no difference. They are still required to make coins that meet demand, whether if it's Ventress Gibson, the head of the mint, deciding we've made enough, or if it's her boss, Janet Yellen, because the U.S. Mint is under the U.S. Treasury. It doesn't matter who makes that decision. The decision is wrong, basically. You can't have, the 100% premiums and say you're meeting demand. So whether it's Ventress Gibson who's lying to the public, or if it's Janet Yellen who's lying to the public, it doesn't matter. The mint is still required, and the U.S. Treasury is still required. Mint works for the Treasury. It's in the same line of reporting. They are required by law to mint and create as many silver eagles as to meet demand. That is the law. It's still the law, no matter who decides whether or not they're meeting demand or not. Now, we all know the government doesn't exactly follow the law, so this is the situation. But do not stop saying that going to the U.S. Mint and say, hey, you're not meeting demand. Let's make them answer. Janet Yellen said we are meeting demand. Because that's the only thing she can say to stop this. As a matter of fact, I have a letter from the Department of Treasury, a FOIA, and this discussion has been going on for over 10 years. This is a FOIA. You can submit a FOIA request to them, so I did. And I should have worded it differently looking back, but they said, we have no, this is in response to this official letter. This is in response to your Freedom of Information Act request submitted FOIA line September 13th, 2013. That's how long this has been going on. For records concerning the Silver Eagle program specifically, all correspondence within the last 6 years from the Treasury Secretary to the Mint regarding suspending, rationing, limiting, or curtailing production of the coins. So I wanted all the communications for the last 6 months because they had started rationing coins back then. In addition, you requested information on the structure and purpose of the U.S. Mint Silver Hedge Program. Next line. The U.S. Mint maintains no records that are responsive to your request. Should you disagree, blah, 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 blah. So I probably should have added suspending, rationing, limiting, curtailing, or determination of whether or not they're meeting demand. But it doesn't matter. They would have lied anyway. I've kept this for... It's over 10 years now that I've kept this. But luckily, I do have... This is my correspondence. This is old school correspondence. The mail. Remember we used to get the mail? Office of the Director of the United States Mint. My own personal letter from Ventress Gibson. Right there. It says, Dear valued customer, at the U.S. Mint, we take pride in the focus we apply to customer satisfaction, and we continually strive to improve your experience with us. We have listened to what you've told us about how to improve our customer service delivery, and we've made significant improvements. For example, we have recently enhanced and stabilized our website to provide a more satisfying e-commerce experience during peak sales times for our most popular products. We appreciate your continued patience as we work to increase numismatics production amid unprecedented demand for our circulating coins, staffing shortages during global pandemic, and supply chains issues. Here's the big line. This year, this is from the head of the Mint, this year we significantly increased production quantities of our most popular coins, the American Eagle 1-ounce silver dollar, which will lead to broader availability to our customers. We significantly increased production quantities. This year, unless something big happens in the next 2 weeks, we are going to see a 16 million ounce silver production year. And I got this back in June. So she said we've significantly increased silver production, and we're going to see 1/3 of their max, less than 1/3 of their max production. They have had years 47 million silver eagles produced in a year. I mean, just before Ventures Gibson was there, they were on track to do 30 or 40 every year. Ventures Gibson goes in and the whole thing gets shut down. Now, according to David Morgan, they can do that because Janet Yellen is the one who determines. Janet Yellen's job in that law is to determine whether or not silver eagles are meeting demand. I want to see that determination. How does she come to the conclusion that, yes, the demand is being met? It is not. Everybody, even Jeffrey Christian will tell you that. I'm sure he'll figure out a different spin. But no, it doesn't matter if it's Janet Yellen or if it's Ventures Gibson who is the one deciding to meet demand or not. The law says they have to create silver eagles to meet demand. Plain and simple. It's that it. And if Janet Yellen wants to argue why she believes they are doing that, they are within the law, I would love to hear that explanation. And I'm sure every silver investor on the planet would. So that's where we are with that. You want more information on silver manipulation, go to roadtoroad.com. Lots of great stuff here. Check out this Cliff High interview. We're getting right there. It's getting really exciting. This is Cliff High's week. He says something big is going to happen in the next few days. So hang on to your hats. Who knows? It's usually in retrospect that we see these big things happen. Oh, like I remember during the crash of September 2008. On September 11, 2008, everybody and their mother was, or the good guys actually, were pulling their money out of the money market funds. They had lost, I think it was $500 billion, and they're like, oh my God, a run on the money market funds. And then they bailed everybody out with the Fed. We're probably going to see something similar to that this week, where we won't know really what's happening until the next few weeks. So keep your eye on them. On the markets, get your last silver purchases. Go to your local coin shop. If you don't have a local guy, go to Andy Scheckman. I mean, clearly, the derivatives of silver are disappearing fast. And JP Morgan and Bank of America did this deal that was massive, and it ends this year. That's why they added the gold to this OCC data. More information, go to roadtoroad.com. We need free markets because it's the only road to freedom. I'll talk to you later.
Here's a true story about a man just like you. He worked his whole life, he was honest and true. Built up a nest egg the way they said to. Invest in the market, money works for you. And everything is fine, picking the winners every time. Started to believe he can make dollars out of dime. Little did he know he's being primed for a fall. The riggers let you play, then the riggers steal the ball. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. Got to shut down exchanges, trade one for one. We want free markets, well, our work's just begun. Free markets are the road to freedom. Capitalism, not as bad as they say. The world has never tried it, rigging markets every day. Socialists fail every time in every way. Need a better system, forward to better day. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. We gotta shut down exchanges till they trade one for one. We want free markets, our work's just begun. Free markets are the road to freedom. I said free markets are the road to freedom. There's a crypto solution, if only done right. We can take out the liars, bring dark into light, and trust in the math, not the people who lie. I think we can make it if we give it a try. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. We gotta shut down exchanges till they trade one for one. We want free markets, our work's just begun. 'Cause free markets are the road to freedom. I said free markets are the road to freedom. Free markets are the road to freedom.